Hello, Leominsterites. This is Natalie Higgins, your state representative here for the December edition of Representing Leominster. As you can see, we're still filming from my home office because we're still really right in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. I hope you're all well. I'm really excited about this month's episode because the weather's getting colder and with the governor lifting the eviction moratorium, we've been getting a lot of calls from tenants and landlords just worried about rental assistance. So we wanted to bring on our friends from CMHA and RCAP to talk about the work that they're doing, and our friends from the New England Farm Workers Council to talk about fuel assistance and how to access it. And I'll also plug some legal aid resources at the end. But we're excited to have these guests. I'm going to play around with this screen, so bear with me, and thanks for tuning in. So we're going to just go through the guests we have to introduce themselves and the work that their organizations are doing, just to help let folks know kind of what resources are available in case you're unaware. So Etel, can you tell us a little bit about CMHA, the work you're doing, and the resources and how folks can access them?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on and my colleagues. Representative Higgins, very appreciative of your work and advocacy on behalf of families experiencing homelessness and housing crisis. So my name is Etel Haji. I'm the Director of Public Education and Advocacy at Central Massachusetts Housing Alliance. We are both a family shelter provider, so we shelter families who are currently experiencing homelessness, as well as we provide rental assistance through RAFT and IRMA. So I think what's really important for folks to know is that we all know, because you're getting the calls, I'm getting the calls, our colleagues on the line are getting the calls. So a lot of people struggling with being behind with rent, receiving notices to quit, or through the process of eviction, or folks who have gotten sick with COVID or for other reasons and are just simply having a hard time keeping up with rent or mortgage. And so what I really want people to take away from this conversation is that at Central Mass Housing Alliance, we share the same region as RCAP Solutions, so Worcester County, and we have the same type of resources and benefits. But the three things that people need to know essentially are that if you're struggling with rental arrears, so if you fell behind with rent or with your mortgage payments, or you are in a situation where you got sick, you've collected a lot of rental debt, you have children at home, if you are experiencing a housing crisis, you're doubled up, you're asked to leave by the person that you're renting from, you are overcrowded, you need to move to a different apartment, there's rental and mortgage assistance for folks. And so while you don't need to know the nitty-gritty of what type of funding you might be eligible for, if you're experiencing any of these scenarios, it's important to call Central Mass Housing Alliance, and I'm sure RCAP Solutions is also going to talk about their process. And so right now, the good thing is that we have an online application. And so what that means is that folks can go onto cmhaonline.org. And I think in the screen share that you'll do later, that hyperlink will be there, and can fill out an application online. I also want to stress that for folks who don't think that they're eligible for RAFT, which stands for the covers specifically rental assistance, and folks who are struggling with mortgage payments, make sure that they're also reaching out. So RAFT covers up to 50%, IRMA is a little bit higher. If you're a survivor of domestic violence, your income eligibility is a little bit higher. So there's definitely scenarios where folks I know who have contacted us think, oh, I don't think I make a little bit more money, so I'm not eligible. Please, reach out and ask questions because there's different types of funding streams that might qualify you for either rental assistance or mortgage assistance, either inability to pay future rent or mortgage, or just to pay off the debt that you've accrued so far with a few stipends. There is an exciting stream for families that have experienced more than $10,000 in rental arrears and can prove that they have an ability to pay forward. That's the COVID-19 benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And they have children at home. That's just another resource for folks to make sure that they're reaching out. And so that would require an agreement between a tenant and a landlord, either done through the court or mediated through some of our agencies. So those are some of the funding streams and scenarios that I would really want people to take away from this conversation.
So I'm going to throw up the slides that you shared, just so you can talk through the two in case there's anything else you want to share with folks.
Sounds good.
So can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. So in this particular slide, what you will see is essentially what I just talked about, that rental assistance is both available for tenants and homeowners. So you have up to $4,000 in a 12-month period. And IRMA was the program that I was mentioning that is both for rental and mortgage assistance. And then you'll see in bullet number 2 that there's the $10,000 benefit that one can receive in a 12-month period. And again, these types of agreements also depend on the landlord's willingness to work with tenants. So one thing, one call to action and one thing that I would beg our landlords to do is, please accept this assistance because it directly helps you also maintain your housing. And it also is very hard to change tenant to tenant. So this in all benefits everyone. So I want to mention one thing for landlords. We actually have an application where a landlord, especially small scale landlords, those defined as owning less than 20 units, apartments or SROs, can actually apply for rental assistance on behalf of their tenants as long as they have their consent. So again, that application is online. It's the easiest way to do it. So cmhaonline.org, that email that we have up there, hc@cmhaonline.org, is a really good email to jot down. That's when, if you have any questions for your application or you're not really sure what happened, email. There's a staff member that will monitor it. And that's our phone number to call. I would recommend that folks use the email because that's the easiest one, but definitely use that phone number as well. And goes without saying, I'm sure my colleagues in RCAP Solutions will say the same. It really is taking us some time to process applications, 4 to 6 weeks. Unfortunately, we're trying our bestest to try to reduce that number, but just for folks to understand that it's not immediate assistance. And it takes about 5 business days for us to return calls and emails. So that is the information I want to leave you with.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we're, I think, really lucky in Central Mass to have 2 amazing organizations, not just CMHA, but we also have RCAP Solutions. And I'm really excited to be joined by Yahira and Livette, who are doing some awesome work. We were on a call yesterday talking a little bit more and introducing the new North Central Mass delegation members to the work that you've been doing. And can you share a little bit? I'm sure a lot of it sounds like CMHA, but I know you also are the ones that handle the Section 8 vouchers, mobile vouchers in our region. So folks might be more familiar with RCAP if you have had Section 8.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Representative Higgins, for having us on again. We appreciate it. It was great seeing you. So my name is Livette Chisholm. I'm the Director of Housing Counseling and Financial Services. With regards to Section 8, I'm actually going to have Yahira Gonzalez, who was our Deputy Director, chime in about Section 8 because she actually has a bit more insight on where that falls. I will give a little bit of information before that to Homebase. Because that's another piece that comes into play. So Homebase basically is another program that individuals that may not qualify for, or do not qualify for RAF, they would get this, apply for this at the DTA office, their local DTA office. They would ask for a D8CD caseworker to assist them through the process. And Homebase is another program where they have up to $10,000 in order to be housed. So they basically they're a caseworker that follows them through the program if they're approved for it. So that's something else that they can reach out to RCAP about to get some additional information. But we do ask that they start at the DTA office. So if you come through RAFT and you did not benefit and you're still in a housing crisis for whatever reason, please reach out to your local DTA office and ask for a DHCD caseworker regarding home base and see if you qualify for that. Jahira, I'm going to give the floor over to you.
Thank you, Lavette. So this is Jahira Gonzalez. I work at RCAP Solutions, and I wanted to briefly describe what we do here in terms of helping clients who are going through housing crisis. So we do mimic a little bit of what CMHA does for clients at the moment. We do have other programs or applications that clients will benefit from coming here and applying for assistance. They're more than welcome to go to rcapsolutions.org and apply for Section 8, RAFT IRMA, and even landlords now could obtain the application online as well and upload documentation specifically for the client. There is a release of information that the landlord has to give the client in order to do so. Once the client does give permission to that owner to obtain documentation and so forth, send that application to us. So recently we are assisting clients with first loss and security. We could assist with furniture for those who are doubled up, couch surfing, homeless in a shelter, coming out of the shelter, transitioning into what we call the real world. They could also come in and apply for mortgage arrearage if they're experiencing due to COVID. A lot of families now are experiencing hardships in terms of losing their home, their mortgages because of COVID. They're more than welcome to go online, apply online. They could give us a call. We could send them the application via email, fax. We could work with a caseworker if they are able to assist a client in filling out the application and submitting documentation. We do have the applications online. The only thing is that we tell clients is that if they send an application via mail, we have no way of keeping track of that mail in case that it gets lost or so forth. So we tend to stress to clients to please fax, email, or drop off in person. That way we could actually have access to the application right away and work on that. The other thing that I wanted to let folks know is that if there's someone with a domestic violence situation, a fire victim, or someone who is chronically homeless, more than welcome to come in. We do expedite those files right away, and we tend to work with those clients as soon as possible. The only thing is that, it falls on the client to get those documentations to us in a timely manner so we could get them leased up into a new unit. We do have the Section 8 program here. Clients are welcome to come in, ask for an application, or they could do it online. The only thing is, as anything else out there, there is a waiting period. So the waiting period at this moment is 8 to 10 years. Unfortunately, we have no control over those timeline years that there is. But like I said, they're more than welcome to come in. That Section 8 database does get updated every so forth. So if a client gets a notification that they have been checked off the list and they don't submit documentation in a timely manner, then obviously they'll continue to pull more clients from that list. We also have a project-based application as well that clients are more than welcome to apply for. The waiting period for that, of course, is less than the 8 to 10 years. It's a 2 to 5 year waiting period. And we tell clients, why not get on the list? It doesn't hurt to do so. Amongst other things that we have in our organization, we have some other units that are either handicap accessible or if someone is disabled. So we have different units in different towns that folks could come in or call, and we'll email them or mail them out an application. Anything else that I should add, Lavette, that you could think of that I maybe forget?
Oh, Lavette, I need you to unmute yourself.
So a couple of the other programs that we have on hand, the home modification loan program. That is a program that's in place. That's for homeowners who are looking to modify their homes. What we are finding is due to COVID, we have individuals that are either in nursing home placements or things of that nature, and family members want to get them out of that situation, but they don't have enough housing to support them moving in. They're able to take out a loan anywhere from $1,000 to $50,000 to modify their homes for their loved ones or significant others or whoever needs that assistance. Those are 0% deferred loans, which basically means they wouldn't pay this loan back until they sell that property. When that property changes hands, that's when that loan is due, and it's 0% interest. So that's something for homeowners to think about, to just make that transition. And it is based on the elderly and the disabled. The other piece that we have in place, let's see, we talked about IRMA, we talked about RAF. I think that both agencies have kind of covered the bases on that, unless you have specific questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
So Lisa, you're up next. Lisa, you want to fill us in about fuel assistance, how it's going at the United Farm Workers Council, and any helpful tips for how folks can get in touch with your organization kind of during COVID and all of the things that come with operating remotely.
Sure. So I'm Lisa Gilhooly. I'm the program manager for the fuel assistance programs in Springfield and North Central Mass. I'm located in Springfield, but I do travel to our Fitchburg office usually once a week. I try. Fuel assistance it's a program where we will assist qualifying households by subsidizing their winter heating bills and by helping them access discounts on their utility bills. Our offices have been closed since March. We are fully staffed, but they're closed to the public. That is both to keep the staff safe and to keep the communities safe as possible. With that being said, the Fitchburg office does have a drop box for participants to be able to drop off the documentation. But some of the changes this year, we've mailed out recertification applications to any household that was eligible last year. If anyone has not received theirs, I would advise them to call the Fitchburg office and have a little patience. It is busy. The phones are busy since everything is by phone right now, and we'll gladly get another application out to you. The big change is for first-time applicants right now. Normally, first-time applicants are required to meet with an intake worker face-to-face to apply that first time. Those appointments are now being done by phone. So what happens is once someone calls, we will book them an appointment, and on that date and time of their appointment, an intake worker will actually call the household, go through everything, pretty much do the application, enter all the data while they're on the phone with the household. And at the end of that phone call, they will send out the application for the household to sign and submit along with all their documentation and everything. We're trying to get an email address up for anyone that would have that capability to email their documentation into the office. That's the big change, I think, for this year. That's been going on since March. We've been doing everything by phone. It's really hard. It really
Absolutely.
is. It's so much easier to deal with the individuals when we're able to see them face to face. So it's definitely been a struggle, but we're getting through it. We're learning something new every day with this, learning new ways to try things. What else is there to say about that part? Everyone's in the same position. I do want to encourage people. I think a lot of people, and we're known as a low income program, but I think that's not really accurate. I don't think our guidelines, our income guidelines go by 60% of the state median income. So a household of one can actually make up to $39,105, which is fairly significant. I mean, so I don't want people to just think, oh, that's for low income households, people that aren't working. That's definitely not true. your typical family of four can earn up to $75,201. So I think sometimes people shy away from applying, and I just encourage everyone to apply, especially with so many people on unemployment right now.
Right. Lisa, something that we've heard from folks, especially around SNAP benefits, food assistance, is, well, I don't really need this. I can kind of figure it out. So I don't want to take from someone else. Is it true that if you qualify for fuel assistance and you access fuel assistance, it's not like you're making there less ability of resources for other folks, right?
No, that's not true at all. It's we're funded, we get our funding, and we've never run out of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's it. And one of the big things I think about fuel assistance is sometimes the discounts that you're eligible for on your utility bills outweigh the actual benefit that we're paying on your utility bill, because that discount is going to last at least 12 months, and that can be fairly significant on your gas or electric bill.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And the other part with fuel assistance is when you're eligible for fuel assistance, we will refer you out for weatherization, and that's whether you're a homeowner or renter. There's programs we'll refer you out to for heating system repairs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are all valuable things that kind of start with the fuel assistance process.
Absolutely. I just want to thank you for taking the time to be on. We're so thankful to have your resources, and really make sure folks know that this fuel assistance resource exists in our community, and you can still access it despite kind of the office being closed. There are ways to access it through the phone. And I want to thank CMHA and RCAP for coming on to talk about their programs. Before we send this over to our friends at Leominster Access TV, we're going to make sure that there's a slide attached to the end with contact information for all of your agencies. And Lisa, I'm probably going to make sure that those income thresholds are on for fuel assistance for folks who are maybe hesitant, wondering if they qualify or not. We really want to make sure folks are reaching out. If they have questions, please reach out to our office. If you're not sure who to go to, if you're facing an issue, we're hoping to have community legal aid on, and we'll probably work on getting them on again, because they're still handling lots of support for families and individuals facing eviction. To make sure that you know what the process is if you get that eviction notice, what resources are available. Call our office. Our contact information is always on at the end, but it's 978-227-5278. Even though Isabel and I are still working remotely, we're accessible. We're calling folks back every day. And I still have my office hours Monday nights and Friday mornings. They're just happening very much like this on Zoom. So you just have to email us or call us to get a slot, and we want to hear from you. We want to make sure that you're supported. We know it's getting colder right now, and so we want to make sure that you have access to everything, and your income could have changed. Fortunately, we know that COVID-19 has impacted so much of our community, and we want to make sure that you're getting access to food assistance, you're getting access to rental assistance or mortgage assistance or fuel assistance. There are programs out there. We want to make sure it's getting into your hands so we can take one more worry off your plates. And so I want to thank you all for taking the time to be on to talk about the work that your organizations are doing. I'm so thankful for all of how hard you all have been working. We know because we're in touch with you all the time. But it's been really incredibly difficult for you to get these resources online and available, and connecting with folks when you're used to being able to have someone just drop into your office and walk through the application with them, right? Like how much harder that is to do that over the phone, and not have that person-to-person connection. So I just want to thank you for just like, you haven't been stopping. And I know that unfortunately you're busier than ever, but we want to make sure that we're getting people to you with the information that they need to have to be ready to complete those applications and get that assistance. We want to make sure everyone's supported this winter. And to
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, Etel.
I just wanted to add something after you. I will wait after you're done.
No, go for it.
Just wanted to, because you just reminded me about the eviction process, and I'm sure CLA will be super helpful in informing folks of what their rights are. But just when you're listening, a 2 weeks notice does not mean that you need to leave your home. So please don't. Only a judge can evict you. So the reason I bring that up is that we're getting a lot of calls from people who are extremely worried as soon as they get the 2-week notice. They think they have to leave their homes. But I also wanted to mention, if you end up through the court system with the evictions, we're on the breakout Zooms Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And one of us housing advocates will connect to a tenant who has just come out of mediation, so that either through RCAP or through us, they can get the raft assistance and learn about how to access that So just make sure, if you do end up in that situation, ask that if you're not connected already to that breakout Zoom, either the lawyer of the day or one of us in the housing advocacy world, that we're there every day. So make sure that you are asking to be connected if that information is not mentioned to you. So just want to make sure people have that information.
Oh, I wanted to mirror that, if it's okay.
Absolutely.
So RCAP actually starts next week. So Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays, we will also, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, excuse me, we'll also be in the courts assisting side by side with CMHA to try and help just everyone in our region. It's just paramount. People really need to reach out. You don't know whether you qualify. You don't know what you know until you inquire. Take the time to make those calls. Send an email. If you have to send the email from your phone, please do so. Reach out to the websites, CMHA and RCAPsolutions.org. The information is there. The applications are there. We cannot stress that enough. At the end of the day, the agencies can't assist if people are not reaching out for the help, and we can't answer those questions if they're not asked. So we want to make sure that we're able to give our community what they need.
Yeah, and just to wrap up, if you know anyone who's facing homelessness, who's doubled up, there are more and more resources every day to help our community get access shelter, access apartment funding. So please reach out to our office so that we can connect you with those advocates, connect you with those funds, because we don't want you to be stressing and worried about that. And if you're unsure of what resources are out there, we want to connect you with them. So thank you all for joining me this afternoon. I really appreciate you and all of the work that you're doing to protect our community. And I'm wishing you all the happiest and healthiest holiday season.
You as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thanks for having
Bye, Natalie.
me.
Of
Have a
course.
great holiday.
Thanks so much for having us. Bye, everyone.